Thank goodness. Yeah, so I'm doing the official review of this thing for about a week. This is a week review for the X Pro 40cc 4-stroke full start automatic cycle. It's a mini dirt bike, but it has loads of torque, trust me, and it's quite loud. And it's SYX Moto and this bike together. Now those are both nice bikes, but yeah. Let's do this. Well, as you can see, wider seat than the other. This has a wide seat. But remember, this SYX Moto and this bike, they aren't toys. They aren't what you want a 5-year-old at all to play. Trust me. Plus, the engine gets real warm on both of them, and they both could reach high speeds. This thing could reach 25, the other one could reach 30 miles per hour. And both of them are quite powerful. Like any ordinary pit bike or dirt bike, you do not want to put a kid on this. Let me give you an example. Why? A few seconds to warm up. And she'll see it as she backs her up. See how powerful that is? That's why you do not want a kid on this bike. That's one good reason why you don't want to put a young kid on this bike. Shocks don't go that far down, so remember, these shocks feel a little hard, but when it comes to like going on bumps, they're good. But so the shocks don't really go down. So if you see the bike, you say it's tall, but say the shocks would go down when a kid or weight goes on it. Not true. Like, look. See? It doesn't, like when you bounce on it, you can feel it, but when you just sit on it, you feel that it's more solid. That's why X is a little different, like it goes down. But still, both of them they're not toys. No. They're not your typical racer electric dirt bike that goes like 10 to 14 miles per hour. No. These go 25 to 30 miles per hour. And they are powerful. In my opinion, this is the weight capacity is 243, which in reality that isn't really true. I have a friend who weighs like 150 pounds. And he's able to ride it just fine. My mom could ride it just fine. And yeah. So the seat isn't that wide and lengthy this way, but it's this way wide, yes. It's a little bike. The engine may just look like a block on there, but when it comes to that, it's a good bike. This thing cost me I spent $421 on this bike, and will I say it's worth it? Amazon deliveries, yep, this bike's worth it. Including this SYX. This SYX is also worth it. Because, sorry, my parents just came. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a few seconds. My dad was just learning that. Seriously, but like I was saying, this SYX Moto, this bike, they have like hardly any problems. Like, the only things that weren't put on the bike when I opened up the box was handlebars, the plastic bolts. you know the plastics are here, the bolts weren't. The seat bolts, like the plastic seat bolts, were intact. See this part right here? Well, this screw cap was the only thing that was in the plastics when you take it out of the box. When you take it out of the box, styrofoam. There's a little part where you cut the something out where if you got the premium edition of the bike where it comes with goggles, gloves, and a bandana mask thing to counter your sweat when you're riding. Well, that's what I got, but either way, on the styrofoam piece, there's a black bag that when you take out, that has all the bolts for these plastics, tools, and all that. But when you take the styrofoam part apart, there's a bike. The things that aren't attached to it, number plate, front fender, tire. You need to put these spacers on. This YRX model, no need to put the spacers on because it already is good enough without the spacers. But when it comes to this bike needs the spacers, or else something's wrong going to happen. But with this YRX model, no need for the spacers. They'll work just fine without them. But this bike on the other end, use the spacers. Just don't just throw them out. That's the best advice I could give you. But then it comes with pre-mixed oil, so it might be a little bit less than how I got it. Mine came with perfect amount, but for you, it might be a little bit less. Just make sure it's like at the line. And like I was saying with the seat, like all I needed to do was unscrew the cap. This piece right here wasn't attached, but unscrew the cap and the whole entire plastic, the fuel tank plastic right here, this whole entire thing slides off, revealing the actual fuel tank underneath, which is underneath this part. Which means if you scratch this, most of the time the fuel tank will be just fine. And the next thing is there are 4 bolts. It came with 5 just in case spare parts, but like there's one here, 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 and here. But once you get that, you can take out the cap without the whole entire seat like sliding out. And once you have the whole bike situated, and the thing is, unlike the other bike, the top bolting part of the shock of this YRX, the 2-stroke, well, it was the bottom part of the shock where it wasn't bolted, but this one is different. It's the top bolt that wasn't bolted for the shock when it comes. And so that's like the thing that's not attached when you take it out of the box. But don't worry. Unlike this YRX Moto, it's literally pushes down, uses gravity to push it down. This one on the other end, the frame is strong enough to like hold itself up. You don't need someone else there. You just push this up, slide the bolt through, bolt it, there, shucks in. But then once you're done at the very end, if it does not start because like the fuel tubing is like half the tank, so you're gonna have to fill up to the top. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't like immediately when you immediately first time starting it and want to ride it. Don't be disappointed when you give as much gas, a little bit of gas, and it still doesn't fire or turn, even though the engine's turning. What could be the possible way is you need to fill it up over half the tank, because the little fuel tube that goes in there isn't at the bottom. It's like a little under half the tank. So you put into little gas, it doesn't quite turn, start, or run. But and when you get this bike, it's almost like a manual transmission, except it doesn't have the gears and clutch, because like every time you start up, it's always going to be like a cold start type where like you have to give a little gas and then